So, babes, we were saying that today we are going to begin talking about it, first and second conditional. But as usual, I really want to know if you remember something of these. Or maybe if you don't remember something of conditionals, tell me what do you imagine if I say that word? What do you imagine if I say conditional? If I say that something is a condition. For example, I'm going to ask some of you. For example, Juan Camilo, what do you imagine if I say the word conditional? What do you imagine, babies, if I say the word conditional?
I don't know, teacher, how explain that.
But with that word, try to do it. If I say that something is conditional, what do you imagine? I don't want you to explain me like the grammar or something like that. No. I just want you to tell me what do you imagine if I say this word, the word conditional. Do you imagine something or is just another word?
Maybe it's repetition or I don't know, promise, something like that.
Okay, okay, it can be something like that, yes. Juan Sebastian, what do you imagine if I say that word? If I say conditional, what is that? What do you imagine, Juan Sebastian?
I don't know, teacher. I I don't remember nothing about this stuff.
No, I don't want you to tell me like something about the topic. Just what do you imagine with that word? ¿Qué te imaginas con esa palabra? Conditional. ¿A qué te suena esa palabra? Conditional. So not the topic,
Like
not the
a
grammar.
condition that
Okay.
you'll talk to other person.
Okay, like a condition from another person or to another person, okay, a condition. And let's ask just one more person. For example, Juana, what do you imagine if I say that word, conditional? What comes to your mind if I say conditional?
Yes, like a condition, as Sanchez say, and like kind of rules, maybe.
Okay, a condition, certain rules. Very good. So, yes, babies, actually, this is super easy because the name is going to tell you what it is. When we talk about conditionals, babies, we talk about conditions. Yeah, of course, it is like that. And today we are going to be focused just on first and second conditional. Possibly because of the time, we are just going to be able to explain one of these two. But let's do it. Don't forget, babies, if you have questions, if you don't understand something, please let me know. First of all, we are going to check what is a conditional. What do you understand by conditional? How can you use a conditional and so on, okay? So let's begin with this first part. So, Emily, can you please help me reading this slide, princess?
¿Cuál parte, profe?
All of this slide, the entire slide. So first and second conditional. What is a conditional? Continue.
Okay, first and second conditional. What is a conditional? Describe the results of something that try to happen, that mean happening or might have happened,
Mhm.
but didn't. Okay, all
Continue.
conditions have two ¿cómo se dice eso?
Clauses.
Clauses. The if clause and the main clause.
Thank you, baby. So look at this, my dears. As we were saying, when we talk about conditionals, babies, we are going to talk about the result of something. So, do you remember, guys, that like the previous class, like or two classes ago, we were talking about modal verbs and future and so on? And we learned this one, we learned something related to may and might. And we said like, okay, those are synonyms. But when do you use may or might? What did you remember? We talk about it when we talk about future. May or might. I can give you an example. what are you going to do tonight? And the answer is this one. I don't know. I may stay home or I may go to the cinema. Or I might stay home or I might go to the cinema. So when do we use may or might? What do you remember, babies? What is it? ¿Cuándo lo usábamos? Who can tell me? What do you remember? When we talk about future, I talk to you about the use of may and might. When do we use may or might? What do you remember, babies? Check your notes. For example, Kiara, do you remember when do we use it? Or how do we use it in future, may or might? I gave you an
No,
example.
teacher, I
Hey, who remembers this, guys? It's important for you to study continuously, not just for the class. Remember that. So who remembers that? I just gave you an example. I may do this or I may do this other thing. So remember, guys, that when you talk about future, when you are using may or might, is when you are talking about
You're talking about
possibilities.
probabilities, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. When you are talking about something that is
Posibilidades,
possible.
¿cómo se dice en inglés?
Possibilities, something that is probable, something that is a possibility, babies, something that you are not sure about. Acuérdense que cuando utilizamos el may or might, que son lo mismo, estamos hablando de algo que no estamos seguros. Entonces, puedo quedarme en la casa o puedo ir al cine, no sé. No estoy muy seguro de cómo va a suceder eso en el futuro, entonces utilizo el may o el might. In this case, babies, you are going to begin using that with conditionals. Why? Because you are going to describe the result of something that might happen, like a possibility or something that might have happened. Algo como, si yo hubiese hecho esto, esto hubiese sucedido. O si yo hiciera esta cosa, o si esta cosa pasara, esta otra sucedería como consecuencia. Eso es un condicional, mis amores. Cuando tú tienes como el resultado o la consecuencia de una condición o de una acción o de algo que sucedió o va a suceder o puede suceder, ¿ok? As you have here in this slide, guys, when you are talking about conditionals, conditions, you are going to have two clauses. Let's understand this like two moments. Vas a tener dos momentos. The first one is the if clause, and the second one is the main clause, okay? But in order to make it easier for you, I just want you to remember this in this way. You have a cause and you have a consequence. Tienes una causa, que es la if clause, y tienes una consecuencia, que es la main clause. I always try to give you like some keywords to remember the topics easier. Yo siempre trato de darles como palabritas clave para que ustedes, yo les diga, por ejemplo, condicionales y ustedes digan, uy, causas, consecuencias. Okay, so in this case, that's going to be your keyword. Causas y consecuencias, que es un condicional, profe. La consecuencia de una causa. Causas y consecuencias. Causas y efectos. ¿Listo? Remember this in that way, okay? So, the if clause is going to be the one of the condition, is going to be the one that is going to give you the cause, and the main clause is going to be the one that is going to give you the consequence, okay? Keep it in mind. Let's take a look to this if. What is the meaning of if? How do you understand this word, if? How can you understand that? What is if? Sí, very good. But this is not like sí, like affirmation. No es como una afirmación, sino es más como una posibilidad, un sí de posibilidad.
De hecho, por eso existe la diferencia entre las dos sí, ¿no?
Ajá.
Con tilde.
Con tilde y sin tilde. In Spanish, it's like that. In English, you just have yes and if. Can you see? So, if is going to be like the one of possibility. Si yo fuera más grande, yo podría estar en la universidad, por ejemplo. Something like that. Si esto pasara, esta sería la consecuencia. Can you see? So that's the if clause. The if clause is the one of the condition. ¿Te vas a acordar siempre que es la de la condición? Por este if. And the main clause is like the one of the consequence. How are you going to remember? Because of this main. What is the meaning of main? Entonces, por favor, no digan mal. What is the meaning of main, guys? Who knows? Es como principal, lo más importante. Entonces, si tienes una causa, la consecuencia más probable va a ser esta. ¿Listo? So, that's the first thing I want you to know about conditionals. If you have a cause, you will have a consequence. Causas, consecuencias, causas y efecto. Esos son los condicionales. Las consecuencias o los resultados de una condición. ¿Ok? Questions up to this point, babies? So I am going to give you some seconds to take notes. Please take notes, guys.
Teacher, I don't understand what is main clause.
Ok, main clause is the consequence. Acuérdate que para que no te me enredes, empezando el if clause, la main clause, piénsalo así. If clause va a ser tu causa, tu condición. Main clause is going to be the consequence, va a ser tu consecuencia. Siempre que tú hables de condicionales, siempre que tengas un condicional vas a tener dos partecitas. ¿Listo? Dos partecitas. La if clause y la main clause. La if clause, la causa, la main clause, la consecuencia. ¿Cuáles son las dos partes de tu condicional? Pues la condición, la causa. Y si tienes una condición o una causa, pues vas a tener un efecto, una consecuencia. Esa es la main clause, la consecuencia, el resultado de la condición que pusiste. ¿Ok? So go ahead, babies, take notes. Ready, babies? Did you take notes? Can we continue? Or no yet? Please let me know. Yeah? Okay, let's continue. So that's a conditional, babies. In general, that's a conditional. Cause and consequence. When we talk about conditionals, we have a lot of types. Different types of conditionals. We have the zero conditional, the first conditional, the second conditional, the third conditional. But, babies, we are going to be focused on these two. First conditional and second conditional, okay? Just these two, okay? No se me enreden, no vamos a estar por el cero, ni por el tercero, ni nada. Solo el primero y el segundo. Solo vamos a estar centrados en primer condicional y segundo condicional. We are going to begin with the first conditional. But I need to tell you something before beginning. The structure of conditionals is going to be similar. There are some things that are going to change, but the general structure is going to be super similar, okay? So let's begin, babies, with the first conditional, okay? Let's go with it. So, Jesus, can you please help me reading this slide, baby? Let me make it bigger for you. So go ahead, Jesus, attack.
It is used to talk about things which may happen in the future that are possible or no sé cómo se diga.
Likely.
¿Cómo?
Likely.
Likely
Yes.
y more
Plus.
present tense, will, more infinitive.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you very much. So, my dears, what happened here? When you are using first conditional, that means that you are talking about things which may or might, remember, possibilities, happen in the future. Something that is possible. Can you see? So, first conditional is to talk about possible things that may happen in the future. Okay? That's first conditional. Cosas que pueden pasar o no pasar en un futuro. For example, if plus present tense. When I say present tense, that means present simple. El presente simple, el presente normal, sin alteraciones. Yo juego, yo como, yo barro, yo duermo, yo vivo y así. Presente simple. And you are going to use, of course, a modal verb or a future tense like will, plus a verb in the normal way, infinitive. Don't get confused by this structure. I know, structures may be confusing sometimes, but I don't want you to be confused because of this. I don't want you to be confused. No quiero que se me confundan. So what happened, guys? First conditional is used to talk about things which might happen in the future, possibilities. Pueden pasar o no pueden pasar. I can give you an example. Look at this. If, porque voy a empezar por mi condición, if I wake up early, comma, I will have a lot of time to do things in the day. Si yo me levanto temprano, podría tener mucho tiempo de hacer diferentes cosas en el día. Hay una condición que es si me levanto temprano. Solo si me levanto temprano, voy a tener tiempo para hacer todo lo que necesito. Si yo no cumplo con la condición, pues no voy a tener la consecuencia que necesito. ¿Listo? Solamente si cumplo con el levantarme temprano voy a poder tener el tiempo. If I wake up early, I will have time to do a lot of things during the day. Okay? First conditional, things that may happen or possibilities in the future. Questions up to this point, babies? We are going to have like more time to talk about it, but let me know if you have questions like in the concept by now. No questions yet? So take some seconds, take notes. Okay. Ready, babies? Did you take notes? Let's continue. Now that you know that first conditional is going to be used to talk about possibilities in the future, cosas que pueden o no pasar en el futuro, we are going to talk a bit about the structure. As I told you, like at the beginning, we have two clauses, the if clause and the main clause. ¿Con qué les dije que relacionaran la if clause? ¿Cuál fue la palabra clave para esta cláusula? Who can tell me? What's the keyword for if clause? Para que lo recuerden más fácil. ¿Cuál es la palabra clave para el if clause?
If.
Yeah, but how can, si no quiero decir if clause, les dije, recuérdenlo como la causa. The if clause is the cause, is the condition. ¿Listo? Y si esta es la causa, la condición, entonces, ¿qué sería la main clause?
La consecuencia.
La consecuencia, muy bien. So, when you are making the conditionals, babies, you have two ways to do it. You can put the if clause at the beginning and the main clause at the end. That means cause at the beginning and consequence at the end. Or you can put the main clause at the beginning and the if clause at the end. Like, consecuencia al principio, causa al final. It doesn't matter, guys. This is like maths. Eso es como en matemáticas. El orden de los factores no te va a alterar el producto. El que tú cambies el orden en el cual dices las cosas no quiere decir que va a cambiar el sentido de la oración o de lo que quieres transmitir, ni la consecuencia va a cambiar, ni la causa va a cambiar, nada te va a cambiar, solo el orden. So I am going to show you an example. What happened, babies? There is something that you have to remember. Oh God. If you have if at the beginning, if your first part of the conditional if, the if clause, you have to remember that you have to divide the clauses with a comma. Tienes que recordar que si lo primero que te aparece en la oración es el if, tienes que separar la causa de la consecuencia con una coma. Siempre, siempre, no se te puede olvidar esa coma. Pero eso es solo si arrancaste con el if. ¿Por qué? Pues porque esa coma te va a decir hasta aquí me llegó la condición y a partir de este punto empieza la consecuencia. Si no tienes la coma, no vas a saber en qué punto termina la condición y en qué punto comienza la consecuencia. ¿Sí ves? So, solo si tienen este orden en el que primero tienes el if clause y luego el main clause, es decir, causa-consecuencia, vas a poner la coma. Si no, no. ¿Listo? So, remember something else. In the structure, you have something important. The if, el if, siempre, siempre, siempre va a ir con el tiempo verbal del condicional. ¿Listo? Pegadito. En este caso, como es primer condicional, ¿qué tiempo verbal les dije que se utilizaba? You got it? You know it?
Presente simple.
Presente simple. So, this is the structure. If plus present simple plus comma, because the comma is the one who is going to divide the cause and the consequence. And then you have the main clause. That is this structure. Subject, un sujeto, porque no puedes poner una consecuencia o una oración sin un sujeto. And then, guys, from this point is when we are going to begin like matching or putting together all the things we have learning. Yeah? In this case, you are going to begin using modal verbs. Verbos modales. Acuérdense que el verbo modal va normalito y al lado siempre va a ir acompañado por un verbo normalito que es su amigo, en infinitivo. ¿Listo? Subject plus modal verb plus infinitive plus the complement. Let's make this easier with an example. Look at this example. If it rains, comma, I will stay home. ¿Sí ven que no es tan complicado? Sé que la estructura se ve súper larga, pero no, piénsenlo mejor con los ejemplos, aplicado de una a la vida. If it rains, I will stay home. So you have this condition, you have this cause, and if this happens, I will do this. Can you see? ¿Qué pasa acá? Porque tengo el rain con una S, porque dice rains en lugar de decir rain. Who can tell me? ¿Por qué rains y no rain? What do you think? Remember? Who knows? Were you going to say something, baby? No? Okay. Remember, guys, that we are using present simple. ¿Se acuerdan que estamos usando presente simple? Present simple has a rule. El presente simple tiene una regla. Que con la tercera persona, es decir, he, she, it, tú le pones una S final al verbo. Solo con he, she, it. En este caso estamos usando un it, miren. Por eso toca ponerle una S final al verbo. If it rains, I will stay home. What happens if I want to say exactly the same but changing the order? ¿Qué pasa si quiero decir lo mismo, pero con la main clause at the beginning? Es decir, con la consecuencia al principio, pues lo cambio. I will stay home if it rains. What's the difference or what is missing in this second way to write the conditional that you have in the first one? ¿Qué diferencia o qué le falta al segundo que sí tienen en el primero? Miren el ejemplo. If it rains, I will stay home, or I will stay home if it rains. What is missing? ¿Qué le falta? Miren la estructura, díganme qué le falta. Hay uno que no tiene una cosa.
La coma.
La coma, muy bien, Juana. What happened with the comma? You just have to use the comma here because you don't have a different way to say, okay, this is my cause, this is my consequence. But when you have the main clause at the beginning, cuando tienes la causa principal al principio, there is no going to be problem. ¿Por qué? Porque el if te va a quedar en la mitad. Y ese if es el que te está diciendo, ok, hasta aquí llegó la consecuencia y esta es la consecuencia a esta condición. ¿Sí ven? I will stay home if it rains. No necesitas una coma porque ese if ya te está diciendo sí pasa esto. Sí y solo sí pasa esto. Entonces, si tienes el if al principio, recuerda que debes separar la causa y la consecuencia, the if clause and the main clause, by a comma. Si no, entonces simplemente pones la oración normal. I will stay home if it rains. Questions up to this point? So, babies, we are going to stop by now because the class is over, but we are going to continue with the explanation and with some practice on Monday, okay? So please, guys, don't forget, if you have questions on Monday about the things we have talked about, just let me know, okay?